Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So in 2016, one of the biggest oddities that took place in the primaries had to do with the voting irregularities that were taking place. Meaning it wasn't just that the exit polls wasn't matching up with the actual election itself. Meaning you have a vote, and for whatever reason, when people come out and say this is the person who I voted for, that oftentimes didn't match the actual vote totals. And it always went in one direction, Hillary Clinton. The shutting down of the polling locations, also a little odd. Now, the argument that they made is, well, we weren't going to get as much support this year, but that wasn't necessarily true. You had a goddamn rock star running in that election. But they would shut them down nonetheless. In one case, the extraordinarily long lines in Arizona where they had to actually stop the election while people were still in the lines to vote. The most pernicious of all of this, however, was the throwing people off the voter rolls. In Brooklyn, Bernie Sanders' hometown, again, another coincidence, 117,000 people were thrown off the rolls. Illegal by state and federal law. This is the case that came up. City Board of Elections admits it broke the law, accepts reforms. What do you mean reforms? The New York City Board of Elections is admitting it broke state and federal law when it improperly removed voters from the rolls ahead of the presidential primary last spring, including more than 117,000 votes in Brooklyn. As part of the settlement, the board agreed to a series of remedial measures that will be in place at least through the next presidential election, November 2020, pending court approval. The deal restores the rights of improperly purged voters and establishes a comprehensive plan to prevent illegal voter purges in future elections. I see their willingness to grapple with the problem as a significant step forward, said Susan Lerner, head of the good government group Common Cause New York, the lead plaintiff in the case. The right to vote is sacred to our democracy, yet the New York City Board of Elections illegally purged over 200,000 New Yorkers from the rolls, violating the law and New Yorkers' trust in the institutions meant to protect their rights, New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said in a statement. This proposed settlement will overhaul New York City Board of Elections practices for maintaining voter rolls, ensuring that the issues that led to the purges are addressed, and establishing frequent monitoring and oversight. My office will continue to protect all voters' access to the polls and continue to fight to expand voter rights. You didn't protect their access. You didn't protect theirs. They lost 200,000 people off the voter rolls. 117,000 of those people in Brooklyn itself. You did not protect those people's rights. And fact is, if this was illegal by state and federal law, why wasn't there an investigation into this? Meaning a criminal investigation. I want them to figure out what took place and if there were any shady dealings associated with this particular case, not sweep it under the rug. Those people actually lost their votes. You know what would make sure this doesn't happen again? Yes, you put in the measures to make sure it doesn't happen again, but you also prosecute. None of this we're looking forward, we're not looking back shit. In the same way that allowing George Bush to go into a country and kill 1 million people and you say I'm going to look forward, not looking back, allows the same behavior to happen again, since there's no consequence implicit in not having a consequence to the action is that this particular action is perfectly okay. You've allowed them to throw off 117,000 people off the voter rolls. 200,000 people off the state of New York itself. And your assurances are, we've put in reforms. Yes, this was illegal by state and federal law, but trust us. I'm going to protect your voting rights. We've put in reforms. This came out today. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Everyone in New York needs to check their voter registration right now. We're getting reports of additional purges. Comment below if you've been impacted. Alexandria Cortez, Democratic candidate for U.S. Congress, New York, 14th, Bronx, and Queens. She's a grassroots candidate. If I am not mistaken, I want to say she's a Justice Democrat, but I don't. Yeah, she is. She's a Justice Democrat. She's a lefty. And she understands that just like before, she could be screwed in this process. People responded to her, by the way. When you look up your registration, take a screenshot and save it. One more thing, do not jump to conclusions on this. We are hoping it's a glitch, but it may not be. If you've been impacted, please call the Board of Elections tomorrow at 1-800-367-8683 and report back. Stay vigilant. Let them know we are watching. I'm also showing up as no match. I just checked mine, no match found. I've checked earlier this year. Everything was fine. We'll call first thing in the morning. Wow, I've been registered since 2011 at the same address. Last voted in both the primary and general election in 2016. Checked multiple times over the past few months and confirmed that I was indeed registered. Lo and behold, as of tonight, New York State can't find my registration. Register as an active voter in recent elections, and I'm not found when I search. We'll call Board of Elections. Hopefully it's just a glitch in the online system. Here's another person. No matches found. Another person. No matches found. I've checked. I'm no longer in the system. Do we know anything about this? I'm not listed. I re-registered using DMV. I'm going to see what happens. Nothing is showing up for me. What happened to the voter rolls? I'm not saying that this is somebody purging the voter rolls. I'm not saying that at all. I'm making the point that they did purge the voter rolls before. That was against the law by state and federal law. And there were hardly any consequences for it, meaning you could say a slap on the wrist, if you even want to call that a slap on the wrist. And now New York is also having additional problems with their voting system. Again, they're having these problems again. This does not look like somebody is protecting the vote in the way that the prosecutor or whoever this guy is, the Attorney General Snyderman, said he was protecting the vote. The point of this video is, if you're in New York and if you check the system, I'm going to put the link at the bottom for you to check the voting apparatus itself in New York. I would take her advice and I would call to make sure that you're still eligible to vote. It seems like New York is having problems again. Seems New York is having problems again. I'll put the link at the bottom to the articles, and I'll put the link at the bottom to the New York Board of Elections system where you can check to see if you're still registered to vote. Isn't that fucking sad? Like, the idea that you have to wonder whether or not you're still eligible to vote is so abysmally sad. That's so sad. It's one hurdle after the next that they make you jump through just to vote. Just to vote. It shouldn't be this difficult. It honestly should not be this difficult. I'll end it on this. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support through Patreon. Thanks everyone.